Hello, so let's talk about why did I actually start an accounting business back in 2015. So a lot of people asked me that when I was first getting started because I was kind of known in my area for being like the e-commerce kind of guy, right? So I tried to do like Amazon, FBA, I had my own like different like branded websites, and I was looking good on paper when it came to revenue for the e-commerce businesses, but I wasn't very profitable with them. I just didn't really understand the profit margins, understand like where to get good products, and there's a lot of things I just didn't know. So when I switched over to just kind of doing what I was doing in my day job, which I was doing like accounting in my day job, and I started doing it for a business, everyone was like, well, why are you doing that? It's like, what are you doing? What happened to the e-commerce business? So to kind of answer the question, just like for some of you, maybe you're watching my videos nowadays, you're like, Bryce, why did you start an accounting business? Like maybe you're thinking like, should you start an accounting business? And what are like some of the pros and the cons of the business? So I'd love to kind of share it with you today. Now, it took me about 14 months to reach about 15 grand a month in sales when I started my business. Now, it doesn't have to take someone that long. We have students inside of our different mentorship programs that we had a student that got $40,000 in the span of 7 days. So it's like, it doesn't have to take you that long if you know what you're doing and if you know how to go after like the right clients, price your service correctly, and then really be a professional inside of this field. So I want to kind of like take that and just talk to you a little bit more. So also, if you want some help growing your business, like maybe you've been thinking about starting your business and it's just so many different things are overwhelming you. If you want a really proven process to be able to go and grow your business and start off on the right foot, go ahead and click the link inside the description. Also, if you've been starting your business, it's just not quite going the way that you want, but you feel if you had someone helping you along the way to avoid a lot of mistakes, if you feel that would have some value, I also invite you to click the link inside the description. I'll book a call and see if I can help you out. So, number one reason why I started my accounting firm was because I wanted to really uncap my earning potential and really make my earning potential based on merit and not based on politics. So one thing that I saw in like when I was growing up, I saw my mom, she was really having trouble like advancing past a certain point in her career, right? And like people kind of talk about like the glass ceiling and different things like that, especially if you're like a woman and if you're just in corporate America, it's really harder for a lot of people, right? And I was like, I never really want to kind of limit how much I can do based on like if someone else is happy with me or unhappy with me, or maybe I didn't meet someone's standards, or they're playing like little kind of like just games, right? I didn't want my income to be dependent on that, because then I'd always be having to kind of go after the next boss, the next boss, the next boss. So the transfer, it'd get better. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to have like, once I got to a certain income level, if I wanted to move higher, I could just work a little bit harder, or I could just get more clients and I'd be able to go up. Or if I didn't, I could just stay there for as long as I wanted, right? And that's the main thing that you get when you have a business. Now, the main challenge that comes with the business is really understanding like the first like 6 months for most people. If you're trying this stuff on your own, like if you have someone that's like mentoring you, of course you're going to get there a lot faster. But if you don't, usually the first 6 months are going to be very, very challenging for most people, because there's a set of like core skills that you have to develop in order to really be able to be successful in business. Like you have to understand sales, you have to understand marketing, you have to understand prospecting, you have to understand like lead nurturing, building a relationship, how to price your services. But then once you have those skill sets down and you like really can overcome those like initial learning curves, then really growing the business is something that is very, very consistent, right? But it's just most people can't handle that. That's why most people just like, they end up like either staying in their job or then like not really starting the business, because they just see all these different skill sets that are kind of in front of them. Now, these skill sets are very simple to learn and understand at the core value. It's just you have to practice them, right? So it's like I can give you a consultation call script. You just have to practice that script. And when you're in your consultation calls, every consultation call you do, you get better and better and better and better. Right? So then it's just like, it doesn't quite take you that long to kind of improve on the stuff that you're doing. And then you just keep, it's like once you have the skill, then you just do whatever you want. You can go as far as you want. Like I just updated my marketing plan to go and add an extra $700,000, right? So there's an opening in the market that I saw, and it's just like, okay, there's a spare anywhere between like $700 to about $1.5 million I discovered the other day. I'm like, okay, cool. So this is how we're going to actually go and capture that, right? The same skill sets. I don't have to go learn anything new. It's just you literally take what's working here, you put it over here. You take what's working here, you put it over there, and you just keep doing that over and over again as much as you really want to grow your income. Now, the challenge that I kind of have is, number one, for my accounting firm, capacity, right? That's the biggest thing. Like, once you get past a certain point, you do have to start like hiring more and more people, and that kind of, really, it changes the business a lot. For my mentorship program, the challenge there is I only accept about 10 people per month into my mentorship program. So it's like, it's one of those things where I'm always leaving money on the table when it comes like the mentorship program. Like, there are programs where they have like 10,000 people inside of it. It's like, yeah, we could go in after like that kind of mass market kind of approach, but I prefer to kind of keep it small so I can actually like know the people that we're working with and like really make sure that we can like add some value and impact some change that, it's in their life. So, kind of leaving money on the table and it's kind of like battling and like kind of doing that. But it's one of those things, like it's once you have a certain amount of money, you don't really need that much more, right? And which actually comes to the next point, which is to be able to really spend time with like loved ones and families, right? So what I've kind of found is that like once you've hit a certain cash flow number, and if you notice I said cash flow number, not savings. So for me, I never really feel safety inside of just static savings, right? Because if you have, let's say you have like $100,000 in the bank, if inflation goes up by 4%, you already lost $4,000 in that money. Not to mention your bills, and you have all this other stuff that are like pulling out. But if instead I have cash flow of like an extra $20,000 a month, okay, this is cool and like this is for a rainy day. But I'm comfortable with this because I know this is easier. It's easier to maintain cash flow and to grow cash flow than it is to like maintain just strictly savings, right? And like when I was coming up, one of the reasons again why I started the business is I saw my mom actually got laid off. She got laid off and then she started like facing like a lot of ageism towards like the end of her career. And when that happened, I think she had like probably about anywhere between 150 like 200K in like savings in the bank, right? That thing dwindled down to about $5,000, right? And like we were in a panic mode. And like, I was pretty young at the time. I was like in high school, like probably sophomore, junior in high school, right? And like from that moment, I think it kind of like embedded this kind of like deep sense of like, okay, if you have it in static, it's not safe, right? And I think the same thing with like a job, right? Because I viewed the job as like static, it's not safe. I need to be able to like just grow my income whenever I needed to, right? And I think that kind of translates a little bit more. But even then, like once you get to a certain amount of like cash flow kind of coming in, right, you're able to really almost like buy back your life is kind of how I think about it. Now, a lot of people are like, money's not everything. I'm not saying money's everything, right? But it does allow me to be able to do the stuff I actually want to do. So like spend time with my family. It allows me to have the time to travel. It allows me to have the ability to pay for travel, right? So I can spend, like next year, I put in my budget to spend about 30K on like traveling and vacations. I might not spend that much, but that's kind of like my budget for traveling and vacations, right? And the ability to be able to do it, it's like, well, how can you just say $30,000? Okay, well, all I'm going to do is I'm literally going to increase my advertisements to, what is it? So it's for this kind of ad that we're going to do, it has about a 5x ROAS. So I'm going to basically invest an additional $6,000 to go get $30,000. It's going to take about 2-3 months to go and achieve that new gain, and I'm just going to have the money sitting there for when I want to take my vacations, right? But again, kind of went back to point one. I want to be able to control my income, to basically warp it and like really manipulate my income to match whatever bills that I have, right? And that's not to say like you just spend crazy. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like you have more control. So like the time that I went to the hospital, I think like 2 years ago I went to the hospital because I had like this like severe heat stroke. It was like a heat stroke, heat stroke, because I was driving down for a vacation with someone, and the AC wasn't working in the car. So for 4 hours straight, I was just driving, no AC, no water, didn't even notice it until I got there, and I just got super sick, super dehydrated. Now, that bill cost $5,000 for 2 hours in the emergency room. I had to go to the emergency room because the urgent care just wasn't open. Like, I missed the urgent care by like 20 minutes, right? So they wouldn't let me in. So we had to go to the ER. So for the ER to give me 2 IV bags and like watch me for like I think 3 or 4 hours, it cost me $5,000. Now, for most people, like they said, it wouldn't have broken a lot of people, but it's like it still would have been like a strain. Versus for me, it's like, okay, cool. So I have this 5K bill. Okay, so all you gotta do is just go and spend, an extra $1,000 this month. We got the 5K within like 30 days, right? And it's just like you just have that ability to be able to kind of like take care of like different things that are going, right? But yeah, but really for me, I really appreciate being able to kind of travel without, number one, having to be controlled, right? So I don't want to travel more than 2 weeks out of the year. I didn't want to feel tied down, so I had to like consistently either call into work or be on call or just be kind of there. I didn't like that. And then I didn't want to feel guilty, right? Because there's sometimes there's like a guilt that you feel whenever you like go and take a vacation. Then when you get back, people are like either upset or there's a bunch of work, or if you're like doing more client-facing stuff, you're like, well, I don't want to let my clients down while I'm gone, right? Because they could be mad at me when I get back, right? So I wanted to be able to do that. Right, because like when you own your own business, you can tell people, hey, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm not going to be on call for this week. Or hey, I'm going to be on vacation. If you need me, go talk to my assistant, right? And it's just like, if you have a competent team that can handle the stuff for you, then it makes everything a lot easier for you. Yeah, it's even one of the things that like we've kind of noticed with the students in our mentorship program, right? So a lot of the students, after they quit their job, they generally take about 4 to about 6 vacations per year, right? Just because of the added income, but also because like now they have the time. So basically making up for all the lost time that maybe they couldn't spend with their family because they're like working like, long weekends, hours, whatever the case might be, right? And that's been a really rewarding thing, just kind of like seeing all the different like pictures and all the different like family things that are kind of going on as a result of these people like taking a chance on themselves, investing, and then actually growing their business, right? So that's always a very rewarding thing for me. Next thing is diversification of income. So that we've kind of been talking about that, but even on top of that, why is diversification, like why is this money important, right? Because you can actually be generous, you can be selfless, right? So in the beginning, you have to be a little bit selfish, so you have to spend the time to build your business. But once you've built it up, you can be very generous, right? So like you can go and give to charity. Maybe you go to a church and like they're trying to like expand their building. They need an extra like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. You can donate that to the church, right? Maybe it's you want to go and get like maybe 1,000 meals to people that are in need, right? Okay, well you can go and either pay for that or even have the time to go and run like a food drive or whatever, right? So it's like you have both the time and the income to be able to do whatever you really want to do, right? Because I kind of, to a certain degree, I kind of see money as a means to the end to really live the life that I want to do, right? So like I was just thinking the other day, like, because every single day I'm able to go and actually see my mom and just like go for a walk with her. Like we haven't been going for a walk as much just because I've been super tired from like dance. So instead we'll like go to like the grocery store, like walk around, which that's a totally different story for a totally different time. It's actually kind of going full circle because when I first started my business, I was so overwhelmed that I would go to the grocery store for like 2 hours every single day to kind of avoid having to do stuff. So nowadays we go there kind of like as a fun, just like, oh, I remember when it used to be here. It's kind of like you reminisce of like the old times and like how far you come. So I kind of like doing that. But again, something I just have time for, like, to be able to go and spend, 30 minutes to an hour every single day with someone that you care for is amazing to be able to do, right? Maybe you want to go be able to drive your children to school. I don't know what it is for you, but I want you to have that choice to be able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, with who you want to do it with, okay? So those are some reasons why I started my business. Now, maybe you can put inside the comments what are some reasons why you started your business, and I would love to kind of hear from you and just really interact with you inside the comments, okay? Now, also, if you want to help growing your business, whether you're just getting started or you've been started for a little while, it's just not quite going how you want, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video. Let's book a call to see if I can help you out, okay? I can't help everybody out, right? Because there's capacity issues, and I want to make sure that you're actually someone that can help you out, right? So generally what happens on the calls, we see exactly where are you right now, where do you want to go, and if I think there's a path to which I can help you, I basically outline what that path looks like, what's the time frame it'll take to reach your goals, and then we can talk about like the pricing structure and everything for the program. But if I feel it's not a good fit, I'm just gonna like let you know that, and I'll give you some different resources to point you the right direction to make sure that you still have like a way to go and reach your goals, okay? So either way, I would love to see if I can help you out. If you want, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video. Book the call. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to learn more about you. And thank you so much for watching my videos. Take it easy.